Hi, my name's Becky Mater. This is Understanding My Community, Derby, Kansas. Knowing customs and traditions in Derby was first settled in 1869, originally referred to as El Paso, and later named Derby in the 1800s. Our school district was organized with a bond issue of just $1,500, but today our school district is the largest employer in the community. I'm looking at missions and values. We do have a lot of tradition, volunteerism, and partnerships. We have community and education foundations, a senior center, a library, lots of opportunities for healthy living. We have Rock River Rapids, our water park, a golf course, a rec center, 28 parks, including 330 acres, a community garden. We have school resource officers in our buildings for safety and stability. We also have a safety and security officer who helps us plan for crisis and helps coordinate with us in order to make sure that all of our students and community members are safe, and also several community watch groups. We have opportunities to thrive and for sustainable growth. We recently approved some STAR bonds to build a big dinosaur park. It's going to include a large hospital. We do have a hotel in our community. We have the venue pictured there, which is popular for weddings and gatherings and different events like that. And we also have a lot of new businesses coming into our community. We have citywide events like garage sales, barbecue festivals, kite festival. We have a farmer's market. And then starting last year, we had a youth triathlon, which was a big hit in our town, and they are going to have that again this summer. We believe in providing quality services that are available to all without discrimination. And then we have professionals who are managing our city and our operations. Knowing our population characteristics, looking there, our population is right at 23,509 according to the 2015 U.S. Census. We have had some growth of 31% over the last 16 years. Looking at our average home value, you can see it there. Those are 2015 statistics. Our median age is 36 years, and then our household income is listed there as well. Our educational level seems to me to be pretty strong, with 96% holding a high school diploma or equivalent, 40% holding a bachelor's degree, 12% with a graduate degree, and 3% of our population is unemployed. Looking at our ethnicity there, doesn't look like we have a lot of diversity, but our schools are different, and I will address that later in the presentation. Knowing our communication channels, we have quite a few options there. There's a Derby newsletter that is included in every water bill. It's very informative. Even if you take the automatic bank draft, you still get a paper copy of this along with your receipt of your water bill. So that reaches all of the households in our community. The Informer, it's a daily newspaper. We have a high school publication, the Panther Tale, websites for both the school and city. Both the city and the school are very big on social media, particularly Facebook and Twitter. We have email blasts that go out to all the families that are enrolled in our schools. Text casting for both the school and the community groups. You can get alerts, sign up with the rec center to get alerts based on what you're interested in or what you're participating in. Automated phone calls through the school district, and then we have lots of marquees and signs around town advertising different opportunities and events that are going on. With foreign language impact, we're looking at a family involvement coordinator in every building. We also have translation services available through our schools and also through our community, and then a Pando initiative, which is helping to forge those partnerships and make them richer. Knowing our community groups, we have a very active Chamber of Commerce. They're actually celebrating 60 years this year. Also, City Council, Board of Education. We have numerous churches in our community that are very active and involved with adult and youth programs. We have a very active Rotary Club. They donate dictionaries to third graders across our district every year, and they also become involved in many other ways. We have booster clubs for our band and for our athletics. And we have a pretty strong athletic following in our community with our high schools and with youth clubs, particularly for wrestling, basketball, football, and swimming. Knowing our leadership, we do have several pastors in town who are very well respected, and they have a great influence over large populations. I've noticed that our mayors, both current and former, stay very involved in the community even when their terms are finished. Our city council members hold multiple roles in the community, many of them do, and then we have quite a few business owners that are very involved Chick-fil-A, for example, has a spin the wheel night where kind of a promotional thing, but they give back to each of our elementary schools. Chipotle will sponsor different things where a percentage goes back to the schools when people eat there. And then also, Veris Bank has a partnership with the bank branch in our schools, correlating with a finance class that our students can take. Then they can intern in the community bank branches and then work in the high school branch. Veris Bank also donates the use of some land for our senior football retreat every year. There's an image of that down there. So they're very involved and invested in our community. We, again, like I mentioned, have a very active Chamber of Commerce. They have events and fundraisers going on frequently. And then the incentives, tax rates, and star bonds of our community, bringing in a lot of new businesses and opportunities, like I mentioned the dinosaur park earlier. Knowing the characteristics of our community leaders, I think they're definitely visionary and progressive. You can see that in the growth of our community, both with population and with the economics. They are, many of them, well-known, respected, and accessible. I feel that they're well-rounded, balanced, and open-minded. Many of them are highly educated and absolutely driven. They are, for the most part, honest and transparent, as well as being well-spoken. And I feel like, most importantly, they're good listeners. They are showing through their actions that they really do care about what community members want and need. Looking at the economic conditions, the leading industries in our community, like I said, the schools are the biggest employer in our community, but also healthcare and social assistance make up that top 24%. Manufacturing at 19%, then retail and trade at 11%. I would expect that to grow with all of the new businesses coming into our town. And then transportation, we do have a public transportation, the Derby Dash. It's very affordable. Many of our students use it, as well as some of our seniors, to get around to the different activities that are going on in the community. We have railway. We have commercial air service about 12 miles away in Wichita. And then we have a major highway, K-15, running right through our community. And then Kellogg US 54, K-54, about 7 miles away. The Kansas Turnpike is also very close. Looking at our tax rates, our total mills, 139.4. You can see that a big chunk of that is allocated to our schools with 62.156 mills. Our city sales tax rate is 0.5%, with the total sales tax being 8%. Our community has been supportive of increases in that area, for example, to fund our water park and different options like that. Looking at our political structure, I'm looking at our district a little bit more closely. We do have 9 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and a high school. One of those middle schools is brand new. It was just built with the passing of the previous bond issue. And we did make improvements to our other facilities at that point as well. We have lots of supporting facilities, food service, maintenance, and operations buildings, different things like that. Our total students served 6,641 in our public schools. And then we do have 2 private schools in our community, both going pre-K through 7th or 8th grade. Looking at social tensions, I believe that we do have some interracial confrontation. It seems to be more prevalent at the secondary level when our students are coming together from many different environments into one very large high school. But our school resource officers are helpful in that area, and I think that we are taking steps to make that better for everyone. We have had some discrimination issues. We've been in the news media recently about policies for transgender restrooms. But I think that much of this is caused by misunderstanding, some cultural differences. There is some social class competition in our community, but mainly probably misunderstanding. Extra sources of information that we have. The websites are very informative, very thorough. We use a lot of questionnaires, evaluations, and surveys, both at the building and district level, and then also at the community. I did just receive a large survey from our rec center trying to really focus in on what the community members want and need. Our city manager and our superintendent are very knowledgeable and very helpful. Our minutes of our school board meetings are advertised and posted very accessibly to the public. Looking at our power structures, Longtime Derby residents, business owners, and politicians, they're heavily invested in our schools and our community. They've raised their families here, or they're continuing to raise their families here, and I believe their power comes from their involvement and their influence, as well as the longevity in our community. Then we have some successful and esteemed coaches and administrators, some new to our community, some not, but they're very authentic, they're very family oriented, they're invested in our overall success of our schools and our community, and so I believe their power comes from that mutually earned trust, the loyalty, and the respect. So looking at multicultural issues, I mentioned our school district is a little bit different. We do have some neighborhoods that are just outside of our city limits, and those students are included in our schools, and that brings great diversity and strength to us as a school district. We have 23 different home languages spoken. Our demographics look just a little bit different than our community, and I think that is wonderful. Our graduation rate is also shown down there at 89.7, and we are taking steps every day to work towards our goal of 100%. Looking at the power structures again, the best thing to do is to be proactive, and I believe that our community is doing that with strategic planning, visionary leadership, having student-centered philosophies, partnerships with the business and organizations that we're able to sustain. And then we have a new position this year that we're filling, a director of communications. We also have strong ties to McConnell Air Force Base. Active duty airmen choose to stay in Derby, and then retirees settle in Derby too, based on the close proximity, the partnerships, and that high quality of life that is offered. Looking at public opinion, we have lots of ways that you can share ideas and opinions. And varied communication tools. So I feel like our citizens and patrons, stakeholders have a lot of options there. And then public opinion surveys. We have online and paper surveys. We have multiple committees that have a variety of stakeholders represented. And then that survey that I mentioned that I recently received from the Derby Rec Center, it was prioritizing community interests, wants, and needs. So that is a little bit about Derby, Kansas. It's much more comprehensive than I could tell you at this point, and I think living here all my life, there are probably some things that I do take for granted that we have, but it's been fun getting to learn more about our community and the resources available in it. Thank you.